It was 14th of March 2011. I was 19 years old and I decided that it's time to place myself in the queue for Stockholm bostadsförmedlingen because in the future I might need an apartment. I don't know why, I don't know when, I just thought that I might need an apartment. And now 11 years later I have finally got my own apartment, my own rental, and I have moved out. To be honest, everything happened very fast. I was just browsing on Stockholm bostadsförmedlingen in July, and on the 1st of September I already moved in. So today I want to talk about my tips, what is good to think about when you're moving from one place in Sweden to another. These tips are personal and they might not be very relevant for everyone, but I still hope that you will find them helpful. If you have been following me for some time, you probably know that I like to talk about finance topics, a little bit about private economy, and of course I would have this tip in any way: budget your moving. I think it's a very good idea to budget what you are willing to spend on the moving because it will be easier for you to budget your private economy, to budget your finances, and you will just see how much you're willing to spend and how much you are able to spend. Start to make a list of things that you think you might need in your new apartment before you move in. Personally, I have started to do it as soon as I have got to know that I might get this apartment because I was the first, I was number one in the queue. So even before I signed the contract, I started to make this list and to think what I might need in this flat in the future. It might be cleaning utilities, it might be kitchen utilities, it might be something, oh, I need a shampoo, to oh, it's good to have a toothpaste. Like anything that you get in your mind that can be good to have in your new apartment, start to make a list now, because later it will be easier for you to have this list written somewhere rather than having it in your head. Now, everyone's situation is different and everyone's prerequisites are different, but what I did personally is that I have started to buy things before I even moved in because it was the end of summer and it was sales time. So some of the things I have got them on sale, and I knew that if I don't get them now, I will pay a higher price in the future. After I have signed the contract, I have started to pack probably right away. Now, again, everyone is different and everyone reacts different in different situations. I am that kind of person that don't like to stress when packing. So even when I travel, I start to pack like 3-4 days before I go somewhere, just because I think it's better for me, for my mental health, to pack earlier. So even in this situation, I started to pack earlier and well ahead of time because I knew that it would be a lot of things and I really don't want to pack everything in one weekend. It would be just so hard. So since it was summer, I knew I don't need to have winter stuff right now in my wardrobe, so I made sure to pack them. Now, I'm not judging anyone if you want to have brand new things. I personally love to buy brand new things because I think it's fun. But if you want to keep your budget low when you're moving, and keep in mind that when you move, you are going to spend a lot of money. Whether you want it or not, it just happens. So if you want to keep your budget low, check out the second-hand places. I was checking Facebook Marketplace, I was checking Tradera and Blocket continuously. And I have started to do it even before I moved in and before I even signed the contract, because I wanted to get some kind of feeling and understanding and knowledge of the prices, how much things cost, how much I think I can pay, and if I see some price for a lamp, then I know that approximately it costs around 500 kronor or 400 kronor, so I can like budget it either in my head or on the list. Book a moving service in advance. Obviously for me it went well, but I didn't know about this thing and I didn't think really about this thing. But keep in mind that when you move from one apartment to another, usually it happens at the end of the month and in the beginning of the month. And usually these booking services, moving services, they are pretty busy. So keep in mind that and make sure to book it ahead of time. When you move somewhere, it is a very good idea, and it's actually required by law that you need to report your changing address. In Swedish it's called flyttanmälan. So you need to report that you change your address to the Swedish tax agency, because it's this authority that keeps register of the population. So make sure to report your change of address so you skip any kind of fees or fines or anything like that. It's also very good to think about that you can actually report your moving before you even move. So I reported my moving somewhere in the end of August, but I wrote, like there is a field in Skatteverket that asks you from what day do you want to register your moving. While you're using the e-services of the tax agency, you can actually use another service at the same time that is called in Swedish spärra obehörig adressändring, and in English it's called, let me check, block unauthorized change of address. Now, I believe that it's a very good idea to keep yourself protected from the fraud and from the identity theft. You really don't want to have these problems, and at the tax agency there is this service, block unauthorized change of address, that will help you with it. So when you use this service, it's going to prevent other people from changing your address. And when this service is activated, it's always going to require your bank ID when you want to change your address in the future. This service is for free, and it can only be used by the private persons. Another good service that is related to the safety is provided by Svensk Adressändring, and Adressändring has actually different types of services, but the one that I want to talk about is Adresslås. What Adresslås does is that it locks your address digitally, and it doesn't let anyone to change your mail address, that is postadress in Swedish, and to send it to somewhere else. When you activate Adresslås, it's going to require the usage of bank ID or mobile bank ID always. And as like Svensk Adressändring say themselves, with Adresslås you lock the door between your own mails, between your post in Swedish, and the fraudsters. Make sure to have insurance in your home. Insurance is a very important thing and everyone should have it. Sometimes some rental companies have collaborations with different insurance companies, or maybe with one insurance company. So make sure to check out all alternatives before you choose a home insurance. And you have to know that it's possible to have insurance agreement even before you moved into your new apartment. You just can let the insurance company know that you want this insurance to be valid from day XYZ. If internet is not included in your home fee, in your rental fee, make sure to think about having internet, because you will not be able to exist in Sweden without internet. I feel like electricity is a very hot and lightning topic in Sweden right now, because we have electricity crisis and it costs quite a lot. If electricity is not included in your home fee, in your rental fee, you can use a website called elskling.se. It's a place where you can compare all different electricity companies in Sweden and decide which one is good for you. Rentals always are inspected before a new tenant moves into the apartment. The same thing happened to me. My apartment was inspected actually when I came here just to see how it looks like. My first visit to this apartment, it was really in a really bad condition. But according to this inspection, it was written that they would fix the living room either with the wallpapers or with the painting. It was also written that they would fix the floors in the corridor, like they would change linoleum. I'm not sure if it's a term in English, but in Swedish it's called golvmatta. It was also written that they would fix like some small things. And that was actually one of the reasons why I said yes to this apartment and why I agreed to move in here. But when I moved here, I discovered so many things that should be fixed. And I moved to this apartment on the 1st of September. And today is 23rd of September when I'm recording this video. And I swear that from 1st of September up until today, or like yesterday, I filed reports for many things. I can actually show you. So all of this, these are my reports that I did in this apartment, and these messages that I've got, it was written that, hey, we have fixed this part, we have fixed this part. So my point with this besichtigung, with this inspection, is if it's written that it was inspected, don't take this word for the absolute truth. Yes, this apartment was inspected and what was written in the report, it was fixed. But I have discovered so many things after I have moved in, and since these were not my mistakes or not my faults, I wasn't the one that caused this trouble in the apartment, I made sure to report it right away. So now my point is that if you discover some things that don't work in your apartment the way they should, especially right after you move in, make sure to report it right away, because it wasn't you who made this mistake, it wasn't you who damaged this part of the apartment or this one. They should fix it. And if they don't want to, like, at least have it somewhere in the email saved, because in the future when you move out, this rental company can say, hey, this was you who have fixed it. And if you have this proof in your emails or somewhere that says, hey, I have actually reported this thing but you never fixed it, they can't say anything to you. Thankfully, in my case, everything that I have reported, everything has been fixed. I was very lucky with my fastighetsvärd. I'm not really sure how it's translated into English. Let's say the service guy that is employed by the rental company. He was very, very nice, and he's very kind, and he's like, okay, Leila, it's okay, it's very good that you report all these issues, I have missed them, but it's okay, I will fix it for you. So these were my tips that is good to think about when you want to move from one place in Sweden to another. And if you find it helpful, please give me a like. I hope that you find some kind of value from this video, and I hope that in the future it will be helpful in some way. Thank you very much for watching, and see you next time.